Almost all money advice tells you the same thing. Stop being reckless. Stop wasting money. Stop the impulse buys. Stop being irresponsible. But here's what almost nobody tells you, and it's the reason so many careful, disciplined, hard-working people stay stuck their entire lives. The thing quietly keeping most people broke isn't reckless spending at all. It's responsible-looking behavior. It's the habits that feel smart, feel safe, feel like exactly what a sensible adult is supposed to do, and that quietly, politely guarantee you never get ahead. This is the cruel part. You can do everything you were told was right, follow all the careful advice, never do anything dumb with your money, and still end up broke at 60, wondering what happened. Because some of what you were told was responsible was never actually advice for building wealth. It was advice for staying comfortable and not embarrassing yourself, which is a completely different goal. Today I'm breaking down 7 money habits that feel responsible and keep you broke anyway. Number 4 is the one almost everyone is secretly proud of, and it might be the most expensive of them all. One important thing before we start. Not a single one of these is about being reckless with your money. It's the opposite. Every habit on this list feels careful, sensible, grown up. And that is exactly what makes them so dangerous. Because a mistake that feels like a virtue is a mistake you will proudly defend instead of quietly fix. Nobody argues to keep their bad impulse habits. Everybody argues to keep their responsible ones. So keep an open mind as we go, especially on the ones that sting. Let's get into it. Number 1, hoarding cash. Number 1, keeping almost all your money in a savings account because it feels safe. This feels like the most responsible thing a person can possibly do. Money in the bank, nothing at risk, ready for any emergency. And look, a cushion is genuinely smart, we'll get to that. But past a certain point, a big pile of cash just sitting in a savings account is not safe at all. It only feels safe. In reality, it's quietly, silently losing value every single year because the cost of everything, groceries, rent, gas, is rising faster than any savings account will ever pay you in interest. You feel protected, you feel disciplined, while your money slowly shrinks in what it can actually buy. Let me make it concrete. Say you've got $20,000 sitting in savings, earning almost nothing, and prices are rising a few percent a year. In real terms, that money is losing hundreds of dollars of buying power every year, quietly, while you feel responsible for having it there. 10 years of that, and your safe money has been gently robbed the entire time by a thief so slow and polite you never noticed. The wealthy keep exactly enough cash to sleep well at night, an emergency cushion, and not a dollar more. Everything past that cushion goes to work, into ownership, into things that at least keep pace with rising prices and ideally grow far beyond them. They understand a truth that feels wrong at first. Money doing nothing is not neutral. It's not holding steady, it's going backwards. The move. Decide on your cushion. Most people land somewhere between 3 and 6 months of expenses and hold exactly that in savings. But anything beyond it that's just sitting there, idle, is a raise you are actively refusing to give your own future. Put it to work. Number 2, rushing to kill cheap debt. Number 2, throwing every extra dollar at low-interest debt because all debt feels bad. This one feels not just disciplined, but almost noble. Debt-free is the dream, right? Get rid of every last dollar you owe as fast as humanly possible. And sometimes, yes, absolutely. High-interest debt, the credit card charging you 20+%, the payday loan, that stuff is a genuine emergency and you should attack it like your hair's on fire. But here's where the all debt is bad instinct quietly costs people a fortune. Rushing to pay off cheap, low-interest debt while investing nothing on the side can actually make you poorer, not richer. Here's the math that most people never run. Say you have a loan charging you 3% interest. It feels good to kill it. But if that same money, invested steadily over years, could reasonably earn more than 3%, then every extra dollar you rush at that cheap loan is a dollar that could have been growing faster somewhere else. You're not wrong to want it gone. You're just paying a real, invisible price for the emotional relief of seeing the balance hit zero a little sooner. The wealthy are not emotional about debt. They're mathematical about it, almost coldly so. They ask one simple question about every dollar. Is this dollar worth more paying down this specific loan or invested over there? Sometimes the answer is pay the loan. Often, for cheap debt, it isn't. Feeling debt-free is a nice feeling. Actually, being wealthy is a better one, and occasionally you have to choose. The move. Split your debts into two piles, expensive and cheap. Attack the expensive pile with everything you've got, no mercy. But on the cheap stuff, pay it steadily and let your investing run at the same time. Don't let a good feeling quietly cost you a fortune over 20 years. Number 3, waiting to afford it. Number 3, waiting until you can afford to start investing. This is maybe the most reasonable sounding sentence in all of personal finance, and it's the most expensive. I'll start investing when I make a bit more, when things settle down, when I have a real, respectable amount to put in, not some embarrassing little sum. It sounds so responsible, so mature, so sensible, and it quietly steals more wealth from more people than almost any reckless habit ever could. Here's why it's a trap. The single most powerful ingredient in building wealth is not the amount of money you invest, it's time. Time is the entire engine. It's what lets a small amount quietly grow into a large one while you're not looking. And time is the one and only ingredient you can never ever buy back later, no matter how much you eventually earn. So when you wait until you can afford it, what you're actually doing is spending your single, most valuable and irreplaceable asset, time, in order to avoid the mild discomfort of starting small. Someone who starts with tiny amounts early almost always ends up far ahead of someone who starts with big amounts late. It's not close and it's not intuitive, which is why so many people get it wrong. The wealthy start before it's comfortable. They start with amounts that feel almost pointless, laughably small, because they understand that at the very beginning, the amount barely matters at all. The habit matters, the clock matters, getting the engine running matters, the size of the fuel can come later. The move. Start this week with a number so small it actually feels silly. $10, $20, whatever won't scare you. The point was never the $10. The point is starting the clock, because the clock is the exact part you cannot get back once it's gone. Number 4, budgeting but never investing. Number 4, the one almost everyone is secretly proud of, tracking every single penny but never actually investing one. People fall genuinely in love with budgeting, the color-coded spreadsheet, the app with the satisfying little charts, the discipline of logging every coffee and knowing exactly where every dollar went. And it feels like the absolute peak of financial responsibility, the gold star, the thing you tell people you do. But here's the hard truth nobody wants to hear. A budget, all by itself, only organizes money you already have. It doesn't grow a single thing. It's a beautifully detailed map of your current situation, and a map has never once moved anybody forward on its own. Think about what that actually means over a lifetime. You can budget flawlessly, perfectly, for 30 straight years, tracking every dollar with real discipline, and still arrive at retirement with almost nothing, because you spent 3 decades carefully organizing your money instead of ever multiplying it. That is a genuinely heartbreaking outcome, and it happens constantly to people who did everything they thought responsible people were supposed to do. They confused watching their money with growing their money. Those are not the same activity. They're barely even related. The wealthy use budgeting for about 5 minutes and for exactly one purpose: to make sure investing comes out first before anything else gets a claim on the money. Then they close the spreadsheet and go build something. The budget is a tool, a small one. It was never supposed to be the destination. The move. If you budget, make the very first line of it investing. Funded before rent, before fun, before anything. A budget that doesn't fund your future first isn't a wealth tool. It's just a very detailed, very disciplined record of staying exactly where you are. Number 5, relying on one paycheck. Number 5, relying on a single paycheck and calling it stability. One job, one income, one single direction that all the money comes from. And it feels stable, especially if it's a good job with a good title and good benefits. It feels like the responsible foundation a serious adult builds their life on. But a single income is not actually stability. It's a single point of failure, dressed up in a nice suit. If that one source stops for any reason, a layoff, an illness, an industry that shifts overnight, then everything stops at once. And the fact that it feels so secure is precisely what makes it dangerous. Because that comfortable feeling is exactly what stops you from ever building a second foundation while things are good. Here's the part people miss. The best time to build a second stream of income is when you don't need it, when the main job is fine and there's no pressure. But that's exactly when the feeling of stability whispers that you don't need to bother. So you don't. And then the day the one rope snaps, you discover you were a tightrope walker with no net the entire time. You just couldn't see the drop. The wealthy are almost allergic to depending on any single thing. They build a second stream, then often a third, not out of greed, and not because they're workaholics, but because they understand what real security actually is. It isn't one strong rope. It's several ropes, so that no single one snapping can ever drop you all the way to the ground. The move. Start one small second stream this year. A skill you can charge for on the side, a small project. Anything at all that isn't your main paycheck. It does not need to replace your job, and it won't at first. It just needs to exist, so that your entire life doesn't hang on one single thread you don't even control. Number 6, avoiding all risk. Number 6, avoiding every kind of financial risk, because losing money feels so much worse than never growing it. This one feels like pure wisdom, like the hard-won lesson of a careful person. Don't gamble. Don't lose what you've worked for. Play it safe, keep it protected, don't do anything you could regret. And genuine recklessness is real and worth avoiding, to be clear. But there is a quieter, sneakier danger that almost nobody ever warns you about, and it ruins more retirements than reckless bets ever will. The risk of taking no risk at all. Money that never takes any risk never grows, and money that never grows falls a little further behind rising prices every single year. Quietly, until one day you realize that playing it safe was actually the single riskiest thing you could possibly have done with a decade of your life. The trap is that the danger of oversafety is invisible and slow, while the danger of risk is vivid and fast. A market dip is dramatic. It's on the news. You feel it in your gut. Inflation slowly eroding your idle savings for 20 years makes no sound at all. So your brain, which evolved to fear the loud, fast danger, completely ignores the quiet, slow one that's actually far more likely to get you. The wealthy don't avoid risk. They do something smarter. They take intelligent, boring, well-understood risk, spread across many things over long stretches of time so that no single loss can ever seriously hurt them. But real growth is always quietly working in the background. They have made peace with small, temporary dips because they fear standing perfectly still far more than they fear a little turbulence. The move. Reframe the entire question in your head. Stop asking, how do I make sure I don't lose any money? Start asking, what actually happens to me in 20 years if this money never grows at all? That second question is the one that should keep you up at night, and once you truly see it, safe never looks quite so safe again. Number 7, trusting the defaults. 7, letting the defaults decide everything and quietly assuming someone responsible set them up in your best interest. The default savings rate on your retirement account, the default checking account your paycheck automatically lands in, the default investment option your employer pre-selected, the box that was already checked when you signed the papers you didn't really read. It all feels handled. It feels like a responsible, competent system is quietly working away on your behalf while you get on with your life. And that comfortable assumption is costing people a genuine fortune. Because here's the thing about defaults. They were never, ever designed to make you wealthy. They were designed to be acceptable to the largest number of people while generating the fewest complaints. That's it. Acceptable and optimal are two very different things, and the gap between them, compounded silently over an entire working career, is absolutely enormous. Think about what a default actually is. It's a decision someone else made for the average of millions of people, none of whom are you, optimized for their convenience and low complaints, not for your specific wealth. The default contribution rate is often far too low to ever make you rich. The default account often pays you almost nothing. The default fund is often not remotely the best available option. And it all just sits there, quietly suboptimal, for decades because it feels handled and you never looked. The wealthy check the defaults, every one of them. They know that the automatic, pre-selected option is almost never the best one. And the 10 quiet minutes spent adjusting a single setting today can genuinely be worth more than years of extra work later. It is possibly the highest value 10 minutes in all of personal finance, and almost nobody spends it. The move. This month, sit down and look at the 3 defaults quietly running your financial life, where your paycheck actually lands, how much of it is being automatically saved or invested, and where that money actually goes once it's saved. Then change every single one that was set for someone else's convenience instead of your future. Responsible isn't the same as wealthy. Sure. So step back and notice the single thread running through all 7 of these. Every one of them feels careful, safe, sensible, grown up. And that, right there, is the entire trap, because we have all been quietly taught to confuse looking responsible with actually building wealth, and they are simply not the same thing. In fact, they're often opposites. A huge amount of what passes for responsible money behavior is really just financial safety theater. It feels like progress because it feels careful, and we've been trained to treat careful as good. But careful and forward are not the same direction. You can be extremely careful and go absolutely nowhere for 30 years. Here's the uncomfortable truth underneath all of it. Real wealth building almost always feels slightly uncomfortable at first, specifically because it violates the safety theater. Investing before you feel ready, keeping less cash on hand than feels cozy, taking the boring, calculated, unglamorous risk, building a second stream when the one you have feels like plenty, actually changing the defaults instead of trusting them. Every one of those feels a little less safe than doing nothing, and that mild discomfort is not a warning sign. It's the feeling. It's the actual physical sensation of your money finally starting to move forward, instead of just standing perfectly still, looking responsible, and quietly falling behind. So here's your move, and it's a pointed one. Go back through these 7 and pick the one habit you're quietly the most proud of, the one you'd actually argue with me about, the one where you thought, no, that one's just being smart. Because 9 times out of 10, that exact habit, the one you'd defend hardest, is the one costing you the most. Start there. And if you want more of this, the stuff other money advice is too polite to tell you, subscribe to Rich Person Habits. Because every single week I break down one more quiet behavior that separates the people who actually build wealth from the people who just look responsible while staying broke. No hype, no shortcuts, just the stuff that works. I'll see you in the next one.